To the members of the Atlanta City Council, my name is Gary Spencer. I serve as Senior Counsel to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, and I'm a resident of District 12, where my council person is the Honorable Antonio Lewis. On behalf of the LDF, I urge the City Council to reject funding for the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, also known as Cop City. To be certain, what you are voting on today is a military facility. The proposed compound would make a mock city for training in urban warfare tactics, as well as burn buildings and shooting ranges. The policing promoted by this facility will not make Atlanta safer. In fact, it will put our communities, particularly our Black and brown communities, in significant danger. Research shows that as police forces in the United States become more militarized, they become more violent. This is not only because of greater access to high-powered weapons and war zone training, but it is also because militarization instills a culture that permits and even encourages a greater use of force. It leads officers to develop an us versus them mentality that can lead them to view community members as the enemy. As this culture grows, police increasingly use the military tactics to deal with low-level offenses. SWAT teams become relied upon to execute routine search warrants. A 2018 report by the National Academy of Sciences found that militarized police deployments have little to no effect on crime or officer safety. They do, however, have severe and deadly consequences for our citizens, especially Black people. Those of us who were around recall that this sort of raid led to the killing of 92-year-old Katherine Johnston by Atlanta police in 2006, after officers obtained a search warrant based on false information, raided her home, shot at her 39 times, hitting her 5 times. In 2008 in Lima, Ohio, an entire SWAT team was sent to execute a simple arrest warrant for a man suspected of selling drugs. They broke down the door, quickly fired shots, and killed an innocent bystander, Tarika Wilson, as she held her 14-month child in her arms. In 2011, after police in Framingham, Massachusetts conducted an undercover drug purchase, they sent an entire SWAT team to the home of the suspect's father-in-law. The suspect was arrested outside the home, but the SWAT team decided to raid the house anyway. They battered the door, deployed flash grenades, and fatally shot Yuri Stamps, a 68-year-old man who was sitting in his living room watching a basketball game. In 2010, a Detroit SWAT team threw a flashbang grenade into the home that was not even the target of the search. An officer entered and within seconds fatally shot 7-year-old Ayanna Stanley Jones. These are the policing tactics that you are voting on today. It may come as no surprise to you that all the victims I mentioned are Black. Militarized police are disproportionately deployed in Black communities. People of color are subjected to military-style drug raids at an overwhelmingly disproportionate rate. SWAT teams are also more likely to be sent to execute a search warrant if the target is Black. In 2014, the American Civil Liberties Union analyzed 16 jurisdictions, and in every one they found that Black people were more likely to be impacted by a SWAT raid than white people, often by a large margin. So today's vote is not simply about constructing a facility. It is about perpetuating militarized policing that will endanger the lives of our residents, our visitors, and put the Black people and the brown people in Atlanta at a heightened risk of police violence. It is telling that such a facility is proposed on this particular site, where the Muskogee people were forcibly driven from their homes, where Black people were enslaved and forced to labor on a plantation, and where a prison labor camp operated for most of the 20th century. This location has a solemn history of state-sponsored violence against Black and Native people, and that legacy must be remembered and ended. Building this facility will not commemorate that history, but will perpetuate it. LDF urges the Council to vote no on funding this militarized police training facility, and instead make investments that are necessary to create true public safety. Invest in affordable housing. Invest in affordable health care, including mental health care. Invest in economic security and healthy environments and the quality of education for the children who live here. Invest in these services and in a solution that will make Atlanta safe for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Lewis.